Like many others, the speech teacher finds it convenient and efficient to have a kit for necessary materials. A sturdy, compact, and portable case is used. The speech kit contains a box of wooden applicators, a pencil flashlight with lucite tips and extra batteries, a dental cast of the upper teeth, and a Plastiflex model of the tongue, a box of tongue depressors, lollipops, blue Kleenex, a plastic container with a wide top, cotton, cake decorations, a funnel, blue feathers, matches, candles, and a candle holder embedded in styrofoam, bubble liquid in a bubble ring, colored balloons, a box of colored chalk, a dark cardboard square, a chrome spatula, a magnifying mirror, a red and a brown paper square, food coloring, rubber bands, dental floss, speech cards, a pair of dice, a market counter, an egg timer, a spinner, a deck of playing cards, disinfectant, and white Kleenex. The removable compartmentalized tray provides orderly storage for small items. The mirror in the lid of the case can be used in speech lessons when a wall mirror or a standing mirror is not available. The speech kit items provide visual and sometimes tactile aid for developing or correcting speech sounds and for teaching other aspects of the motor skill, speech. Items which are particularly useful as aids in teaching articulator placement will be shown in this first film. Items which are particularly useful as aids in teaching the action during articulation, which includes manner of articulation and the action of the airstream, will be shown in the second film. And a group of miscellaneous items, which includes aids for teaching various other aspects of speech, will be shown in the third film. Pat Bolliger, our teacher, will give a brief demonstration of each item. Helping her in some of the demonstrations will be pupils, chosen to suggest at what age the use of a particular item is most appropriate. Though uses for all the speech kit items will be shown in quick succession, keep in mind that when teaching, usually only one item would be used in a lesson, exhausting its benefits before going on to the next. Of the 6 items used mainly for teaching place of articulation, we will start with the wooden applicators.
N is a nasal sound. This part of my tongue.
With an applicator, the teacher can point out and touch the contact surfaces. The teacher uses one applicator on herself. Then, using another applicator, she repeats her demonstration on the pupil, again pointing out and touching the contact surfaces so that he can feel the correct placement.
Closes on the ridge. Now take the position for N.
A pencil flashlight is useful for lighting the mouth so that the placement of the tongue can be seen clearly. For N, the flashlight helps to show the apex of the tongue closing on the ridge. For L, it helps to show the opening between one or both sides of the tongue and molars.
Oh.
For SH, it helps to show the cavity behind the lower front teeth and the shallow, wide air passage between the tongue and the alveolar ridge. For the vowels, it helps to show the tongue tip touching the lower front teeth.
A. E. Ah.
And for NG, it helps to show the back of the tongue raised and the apex down. Sometimes, by the sound alone, the teacher cannot be sure if the pupil is producing N or NG. The flashlight helps her to see where his point of articulation is. Another aid for tongue placement and sound action is a dental cast of the upper teeth and a molded plastiflex tongue. With their aid, the difference in place of articulation between N and NG is made dramatically visible. For N, the apex of the tongue is closed on the ridge. For NG, the apex of the tongue rests behind the lower front teeth, and the dorsum closes against the forward edge of the velum. Or, to demonstrate a T, the tip of the tongue is closed against the alveolar ridge, and the sides of the tongue are closed against the teeth. Air is held in the mouth until it's exploded when the tongue tip opens. Tongue depressors can be used in a number of ways. Here, the teacher uses a tongue depressor to help Eric with a step in producing SH. The teacher pushes the edge of the depressor against his tongue and guides it to the proper place. The blunted tongue should be just below the back of the alveolar ridge. She describes the procedure, then demonstrates on Eric.
Close.
The depressor provides tactile aid to a pupil both for the blunted tongue and the place of articulation. A tongue blade can also be used as an aid in developing a new sound from an analogous known sound. Sharon has a good D, from which her teacher is helping her to develop G.
You try. Come on, you try.
As Sharon vocalizes a series of does, the teacher gently pushes her tongue back with the tongue blade until she is producing a series of g's. In the same way, a tongue blade can be used for the transition from T to K and from N to NG. The last item in this group of aids to articulator placement is a lollipop. Vowels often sound nasal because the tongue is too far back and blocks the mouth. A lollipop helps remind the pupil to bring his tongue forward.
Try. To try.
Note that the teacher rests the lollipop on the pupil's lower front teeth. We don't want the pupil to stick his tongue out of his mouth. In this film, we have demonstrated some of the possible uses of 6 items from the speech kit, those which aid in teaching place of articulation. In the next film, we will demonstrate the second group of speech kit items, which aid in teaching the action during articulation. In this film, we'll demonstrate the speech kit items which aid in teaching the action during articulation. This includes aids which help in defining manner of articulation. That is, whether a sound is a sonorant, like W, R, or L, a fricative like F, V, or TH, a sibilant like S, SH, or ZH, a nasal like M, N, or NG, or a plosive like P, T, K. We'll also demonstrate aids which help to show the 5 kinds of airstream action: air direction, air flow, air pressure, air release, and general air path. In our first demonstration, the teacher uses 1 thickness of blue tissue. Blue because in speech work it is the color we associate with voiceless or breath sounds. She folds the tissue to make the corner stand up about 2 inches, then shapes the corner to catch air. The tissue becomes a visual aid, showing air direction and air pressure for a voiceless continuant, like WH. Or, for a voiceless plosive like T, it shows air pressure and air release. Notice that for the T, the tissue is held slightly lower. A good plosive has a sharp, clean, short sound. Another effective use of blue tissue is to make a flag by sticking a corner of tissue on the end of an applicator. The tissue is sensitive to the breath stream and will visually emphasize the correct air path for the sibilant S. For S, the flag should move only when placed in front of the opening at the tip of the tongue, which is grooved to allow breath to escape.
This is correct. This is incorrect. Do it again.
Another use for Kleenex is to shred tiny bits of it into a container. Keeping the Kleenex in the jar requires proper control.
E.
Too little pressure and they won't move.
E.
Too much pressure and they'll fly out.
He.
As a variation, the teacher uses cotton bits. Although the fricative V is a voiced consonant, it does contain some breath component. For S and for SH, a field of cake decorations on a smooth surface is effective in showing the width of the air path. The decorations will also jump from the air pressure of a plosive such as K, a sound that is virtually invisible for lip reading. A feather, too, shows this difficult sound. Not only is a feather a good visual aid for gauging proper air pressure for any plosive, it is particularly useful for demonstrating continuous sounds like F. Since the downy part of the feather is the most sensitive, it is the best part to use. A candle flame is a good visual aid for showing general air path and proper air pressure. Smoke is used in the same way for the fricative TH. The candle holder is embedded in styrofoam for safer handling. Bubbles, too, provide a device for visualizing air action. The teacher blows the bubble and catches it on a bubble ring.
Try not to break it. It popped!
When P has just the right explosion, it doesn't break the bubble, but moves it gently. To get proper explosion on a plosive, there must be a sufficient buildup of air in the mouth, implosion, before exploding the sound. A balloon held lightly at the neck will respond with a bounce to the explosion. Another way to demonstrate plosiveness is to have the pupil feel its vibrations in a balloon. Here, the child both holds the balloon and gives the sound. By scraping colored chalk dust onto a piece of dark cardboard, the teacher creates still another device to help visualize plosiveness. The chalk dust will jump for the proper explosion of P.
Now you try it. Good.
By changing the color of the chalk dust, the teacher can motivate the pupil to continue practice of one sound for a long time.
Try it again.
The last item we will demonstrate in this film is a chrome spatula. It serves as an aid for making visible nasal emission, or the lack of it. E is not nasal, therefore no fogging shows on the spatula. For M, a nasal, fogging shows. In this film, we have demonstrated the speech kit items which are useful as aids in teaching breath stream action and manner of articulation. In the third film on the speech kit, we will demonstrate the remaining items, which fall into two categories. 1. Items which serve as aids in teaching other aspects of speech. And 2. A number of items which, though they're not used for teaching speech, are useful to have at hand during a lesson. We will also give suggestions of how to make or where to find some of the speech kit materials which are a little out of the ordinary. In this third film on the speech kit, we will demonstrate the remaining group of miscellaneous items. Included in this group are a few items from the preceding films for which we will show other uses. A hand mirror is an excellent tool for self-monitoring when the pupil is ready to practice a speech skill on his own. It gives him a closer view of his articulators and enables him to judge and correct their placement. The magnifying side of the mirror can be used in the same way. By combining the magnifying mirror and the spatula, we get a reflection that shows articulator placement at the top of the mouth. Here, the teacher demonstrates the correct way to hold the mirror and spatula to see the place and action for the tongue tip R. The relationship between the blunted tongue and the alveolar ridge for SH, and for CH. The brown square, the red square, and the blue tissue together form what we call the color code. The brown square is related to nasality and general air path. It is placed lightly on the cheek where the pupil can feel the nasal vibrations.
Good.
The red square is related to the laryngeal action associated with voiced sounds. It is held lightly, like a sandwich, with its edge against the larynx, so the pupil can feel the vibration of the voice in the paper.
Oh, bo, 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 bo. Good, Laurie. Use touch.
The blue tissue is related to the laryngeal action associated with voiceless sounds and is held in front of the mouth. The red square can also be used with the blue tissue. Ha is breath and voice. Here, the color code helps the pupil to see the sequence of sounds and reminds him when to turn his voice on and off.
Ha.
By linking manner of articulation with these particular colors and the colors with certain touch positions, the color code helps a young pupil to separate, visualize, and remember the various sound categories. Balloons and feathers are also used as color-coded devices. A red balloon is used for the child to feel the vibration of the voiced ooh.
Tie the balloon. Hold the balloon. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
A blue feather responds to the voiceless P. Food coloring, rubber bands, and dental floss are useful as aids when helping a pupil to get correct tongue or lip shape. For example, food coloring applied to the top of the tongue shows the pupil that the midline of the tongue is in the center when the tongue is properly blunted for SH. Rubber bands can aid in showing the change in lip shape that takes place in a syllable with a glide consonant.
We. We.
The movement is reversed for you.
You.
Beyond preschool, when pupils are ready to work on more difficult sounds like L and S, dental floss becomes a useful aid. For L, the teacher lays a 4 or 6 ply strand of dental floss across the middle of her tongue. Then, While giving an N, she pulls down the sides of her tongue to get an L. To demonstrate the narrow air path of S, she lays a single strand of dental floss along the length of her tongue.
You try. Give a breath. Good. Okay, now look. You try.
A pack of speech cards is always included in the speech kit for easy access to the printed form of speech sounds. They are useful as stimulus or reinforcement materials. Although this pack is of Thorndike spellings, the teacher may use whichever orthographic system she prefers. Each sound is printed on a separate card and can be used singly or in combination.
2. 2.
Another group of items from the speech kit are the gaming devices. Like adults, children seem to be stimulated by the element of chance. These devices can be used for a variety of games and to determine the length of time or the number of times a pupil will practice a specific speech item. Also handy for use at all times is white Kleenex. Remember, blue Kleenex is reserved for use as a speech aid. If you have to wipe a pupil's nose, use white Kleenex. Keeping all speech aids spotlessly clean is very important. Routine use of disinfectant minimizes the danger of spreading germs. At the end of each lesson, the careful teacher cleans and replaces each item she has used and prepares for the next lesson. Unlike in our demonstration, cleaning up after a speech lesson involves only 1 or 2 items. Remember, they are used sparingly. The speech lesson is for teaching, not for entertainment. In the speech kit films, we've shown only a few uses for each item. There are more. The creative teacher will undoubtedly think of many. Following are a few hints of how to take care of and where to get or how to make those items which are a little out of the ordinary. Ask your dentist for a dental cast. An imperfect or rejected one will do. The easiest way to cut styrofoam to the size and shape you want is with a hot knife. The model tongue is made of Plastiflex, obtainable at hardware stores. Use a plaster of Paris mold. To make your flashlight batteries last, take them out when the flashlight is not in use. Don't be misguided by so-called no-leak batteries. All batteries leak. A funnel is useful for rebottling the cake decorations or other very small items. The spinner is made with a piece of dark cardboard and a paper clip. A film can or a jar with a wide metal lid can be substituted for the plastic container. Chrome camp mirrors can be used instead of the mirror or spatula. Compact and portable, the speech kit is easily stored in the teacher's own tutoring room. Or, if she is called upon to teach elsewhere, it is light and easy to carry. The speech kit does not include all the devices that can be used in teaching speech, but it does keep handy for use standard equipment that is easily adaptable for dealing with the problems that arise most frequently in speech lessons.